the perfect time to welcome to the program Jarrett Bush, who spent 9 seasons with the Green Bay Packers, won a Super Bowl with them, and he's looking fresh here today. Happy Friday, Jarrett. How you doing, my man?
Doing good. Happy to be here. Appreciate you. Thanks for the compliment.
Yeah, you bet. Glad to have you. And listen, I don't know if you remember, Jarrett, the last time we had you on, we were right in the throes of the Aaron Rodgers controversy. Was he coming back? Was he not? And as producer Clark said, what a time to bring Jarrett back on, to look back on what's happened since. MVP season, the COVID stuff, clinching number 1 seed in the NFC. Man, what a season for the Green Bay Packers. It probably feels like 5 seasons in one up there, does it?
Say that again?
Probably feels like 5 seasons in one. It's been a long year in Green Bay.
Yeah, I think that's just the way of the NFL. It's definitely a lot of ups and downs. There's definitely a lot of challenging times. And as well as, I think a lot of the public here in America in football, people have a short-term memory. And when you talked about Aaron Rodgers in the offseason, people that's vaguely in people's memories now. All people see now is that Aaron's playing very well. The Packers have clinched the number 1 seed in the NFC. He's running for the MVP. Him and Devontae have the top duos, and now everybody's like wondering, curious, like who they're gonna play in the first round of the playoffs. Who's healthy? Is Jarrett Alexander? Is he gonna get back into the lineup? Is David Bakhtiari? Is he gonna show up in the back up in the lineup due to his surgery? And they're looking forward. They're looking in the windshield. They're not looking back in the rearview window. And I think that's a really positive thing to look at. When you look at the Green Bay Packers and what they've overcome, especially Matt LaFleur, and what he had to overcome with COVID and with the offseason with Aaron Rodgers. You got to give him so much credit to the way he handled it and the record that he has done with having 3 back-to-back 13-3 seasons, and second to only Mike Ditka to only do that in his first three seasons as a professional head coach. So kudos to him.
How are the Packers approaching this weekend, by the way? You mentioned the first round bye, number 1 team in the NFC. They've got the Lions on Sunday to wrap up the regular season. Obviously resting guys. What are they saying about this weekend's game?
You know what? I think this weekend's game, you got to go for it. You got to go for it. I understand that, you definitely want to keep guys healthy. I think if you get up by 4 touchdowns, I think you got to keep the hot hand going. And I don't think you should allow him to put a governor. You shouldn't put a governor on him in the sense of like an automobile. I think you should allow him to keep, pressing down the gas and allow him to continue just the momentum that he's built throughout the season. And just continue to build that chemistry going into playoffs time, because it's going to be crucial. And even though this game may seem irrelevant, I think there's a lot of connections that the Packers and the Detroit Lions have. One, Equanimeous St. Brown has a brother playing. Jamal Williams, former running back for the Packers, is now playing for them. And there's a lot of connections through the coaching staff as well. I know Matt LaFleur has a lot of connections with Michigan, being that he played there. He has a lot of coaches that played at the University of Michigan as well. And so I think there's a lot of connections there. So you definitely want those bragging rights. And as competitive in the NFL, you definitely want to, own those bragging rights. When you walk in at the bar, you walk in and you have that phone conversation after the game when it's all said and done.
Who do you think, Jarrett, represents the biggest threat to the Green Bay Packers to winning the Super Bowl? Let's forget about the AFC when they get there, just getting out of their conference. Who's the biggest, most legitimate threat to them?
That's a good question. I think Dallas. I think he knows them. I think he knows the Packers really well. I think he understands what it takes to win up in Lambeau. Tom Brady, obviously, in the Bucs, because we haven't got over that hump yet. And I don't think the Rams are a threat because we saw them, up at Lambeau. But hey, you never know. You never know. They could be a different team. They could have a different mentality, when it comes down to the playoff team. But I would say, in my personal opinion, those are 2 teams you gotta watch out for. They're going to give you your best shot, and every team's going to give you their best shot. But those are the 2 teams that probably that will give us a run for the money.
Well, as you know, you get this late in the season, every team's good. I'm with you, though. The Rams have a lot to prove. Darren, watching in Salt Lake City, Utah, says, hey, Rod, can you ask Jarrett if it was colder in Green Bay or in Logan, Utah? Why would he ask that question, and how would you answer it? What's colder, Green Bay or Logan, Utah?
Say that one more time.
What's colder, Green Bay or Logan, Utah?
I have to say, man, I have to say Green Bay, just because the dry cold, man. I think that I never felt the negative temperatures in Utah like I did here in Green Bay. I'm serious, like -20, -25. That's ridiculous. And I think -10, that's, it shouldn't even be called anything else besides it's just ridiculous. And when you play in that 2007 NFC Championship game, there's nothing to the amount of how cold I was, as well as like everybody else that was at that stadium that day or that night, that evening. And it was truly a remarkable game. We ended up on the short end of the stick on that game. But I've never felt that cold before in Utah or anywhere else besides Green Bay. So Green Bay definitely takes the cake. Good question.
John in Winnipeg watching says, Green Bay royalty. Mr. Bush, man, I would love to have one of those Green Bay helmets. Well, John, I'm sure you can go buy one at Polo Park Mall. Ryan in New York watching. Last question for you, Jarrett, before we let you go. He says, question for Jarrett. With the Jets playing better as of late, is there a potential for an upset on late Sunday afternoon? That's the Jets and Bills playing. I think the Bills are looking at it as a tune-up. Any chance the Jets win that one?
That's tough. I don't want to break his heart, but I think it's every dog has his day, man. I think it is the NFL. I think they have Jets are dangerous because they have nothing to lose. Due to the record, I think you got to go into it. Hey, we can only come up and win this game, So I think they're a very dangerous team. And when you have nothing to lose, you become really dangerous. Now the Bills, they've proven, time and time again why they're one of the top teams in the NFL. I think at 1 week, the Bills were the top dog in the power rankings on ESPN.com. So I definitely feel that the Bills have still a great matchup. Zach Wilson, he seems like a great kid. He does a lot for the community. I think he's still developing. He has a lot of tools around him, and a great city to play for. I think it's gonna be a great game, but nothing to lose, and number one, former power ranking. I think it's gonna be a dog match. So you guys got to get your popcorn and watch it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some great games. Plenty of games to watch with great side stories here in Week 18. Jarrett, thanks for the time. Great job as always, my man. Stay safe out there in Green Bay.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Former Packer and Calgary Stampeder, Super Bowl champion Jarrett Bush.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.